All right, I'm going to cover a bunch of signs, around 8, that you are micromanaging, controlling, and enabling your partner. Oof. I'm also going to cover the enabler's creed. So you're going to want to understand this one. It's a 1-sentence creed that hopefully a few light bulbs will go off. So make sure you stay tuned. That'll be about halfway through the video here. Okay, let's dive into the signs that you're overfunctioning, micromanaging, and controlling. Number 1, in the quiet recesses of your mind, you believe in their potential, not their daily actions. And because of this, it somehow ignites this desire, anxiety that you need to help them. I'm going to help them reach their potential because you're smart and intuitive, and you sense there's a lot of potential in that person. They're not living into it yet. And you think if you just pull the right levers in the right way,
pull the lever, Crunk. Wrong
lever! Boom, the flower of who they are will kind of bloom, right? That's sign 1. And this really doesn't feel good to other people. Some people like your approach here, but usually an intimate partner does not. Sign number 2, you really believe that if they only just did blank differently, you would get your needs met. You'd have a great relationship. So again, if I turn the levers over there, and if I just tell them to do this thing, I'll get what I want. Outside in. That's your approach. I will change the outside to feel like I have a good relationship, feel connected, to feel good, to feel safe, right? So that's another sign. Number 3, you're not loving them as they are, okay? That is obvious, you could say, but a lot of overfunctioners and people who feel controlling in relationships really think that this is love. This is how love works. I am so helpful. I do everything for you, including your laundry, including pay the bills, including cook for you, And they really believe this is love. This ties into the enabler's creed, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Sign 4, you tell them that they should listen to a specific podcast. You need to listen to this. It's really good. And again, you're like, hey, I have good intentions. I just want to help them. Number 5, you tell them they should read a certain book. Again, you think you have good intentions and you're just trying to help. Hey, I'm just trying to help, guys. I'm going to share with you what this feels like to be on the receiving end in a minute. All right? From real people. This is what they tell me. Number 6, you remind them to schedule the appointment to see the therapist or coach. Hey, have you made that appointment yet with therapist John? Hey, have you made that appointment yet with your coach? Hey, have you made that appointment with your dentist, chiropractor, body worker, rolfer, acupuncturist? It's this, again, starts to feel like a nag, but in your shoes as the overgiver, controller, micromanager person, you know that in your mind, you're like, well, but if I don't remind them of the appointment or making the appointment, they won't do it. And so I have to remind them or it won't happen. Right? This is how you justify it in your mind. Number 8, when you bring up your relationship challenges with friends, this is a tricky one here. You've focused the conversation on your partner instead of yourself. So for example, you're having coffee with some friends, or let's say a friend, and you're talking about your relationship, and all you're talking about is how much potential your partner has, and if they would only just do this one thing, and how great they are, but you're kind of frustrated with them because you feel like you have to do all this stuff for them. And notice how I'm just talking about them, the partner. I'm saying nothing about me. If I want to change this, I've got to start talking about myself and say, wow, I put a lot of attention on my partner, don't I, in conversations, and I talk very little about myself. I wonder why that is. Great. Start to get really curious about you and this pattern you're stuck in. Okay, because again, you're so identified with their problem and trying to help them with their problem, you lose sight of your part of the problem. I got one more, 9, and then I'll talk about this enabler's creed. You get a lot of social currency, okay, by being the way you are. Meaning everybody thinks you're awesome because you're so helpful.
I'm Batman. I'm awesome.
You do everything for everybody. You remember people's birthdays. You have other people feel seen and acknowledged a lot. You're this naturally helpful person. So people like you. And they praise this part of you that is also your kryptonite, okay? This is your strategy. It's maybe your gift, and it's also your kryptonite because it's actually going against getting you what you want in a long-term relationship. So here's the enabler's creed, all right? And I want you to write this down. I really believe that the way to get love is to control, overfunction, and micromanage my partner because that's what I did in my childhood in order to get love. Let me read it again. I really believe that the way to get love is to control, overfunction, and micromanage my partner because that's what I did in my childhood in order to feel okay and get love. Just sit with that for a minute. So the whole lesson here is to get the attention off helping the partner and start helping yourself. You're part of the problem here. Your helpfulness is actually enabling this whole thing. That's why it's the enabler's creed. You're enabling the potential of this relationship. You're actually robbing the relationship of its true potential. And the more you back off, the more uncomfortable you're going to feel and the more anxious you're going to feel, which is where your work is. And this is another version of codependency, right? Where you help them, but they don't help you. And it works socially in your network, but it does not work in a long-term relationship. You settle for scraps, for crumbs, and ultimately you don't get your needs met. And you're inside of an unfulfilling, unequal, unfair, non-mutual partnership. And it's time you get sober here in that reality and start going, whoa, I think what this guy's saying is right. My relationship is way out of balance where I give a ton and they give very little. And they're giving very little because I give so much. I overfunction, they underfunction. So these are like lock and key. The way to change this is stop doing your pattern and watch this person freak out because you're not doing all your patterns with them. And what it'll do is it'll start to break the pattern, and this person will do one of two things. They will get empowered and go, holy shit, like this sucks. I don't like how I feel here. I've been kind of like, my partner's been putting a Band-Aid on all my problems, kind of propping me up, and now I've got to prop myself up. Whoa. And they get on the move, and it's amazing to see what happens to these people. Or they get really mad because you're not doing your habit anymore, and they start making you wrong because they kind of like this unfair deal where they don't have to do shit and you do everything. They're kind of like that. So what this is going to do is it's going to expose the hidden truth going on inside your partnership so that it can come out in the open, and then you two can talk about it, deal with it, and decide, do we want to do this unfair, unequal, non-mutual vibe or not? And hopefully you get to the place in your heart where you're like, hell no, I don't want to do this. I level, equal, I pull my weight, you pull your weight. Let's do this together. We're a team. Teams function where both people put in the work. And then they become this awesome couple because of that. Not this like, awkward, terrible, one-sided thing they're trying to call a partnership. Okay, so you deserve to be loved differently here, and your part of the work is to love differently, all right? If this was helpful, leave a comment below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next video.